Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for tuning back in. Today's Monday. I've been promising this oldest cards by my subscribers video for about a month now. These emails go back a month today, I think. So I'm finally starting to catch up. We'll see some more fun and interesting content over the next couple of weeks. I'm doing some super collector interviews, some other fun stuff. So I'm excited about it. I hope you are too. And let's jump right in. I only have nine. So this shouldn't be a very long video, but I really enjoy these nine. So let's hop right in. If you're new here, make sure you are subscribed for more sports card content. Here we go. First one is from Ken. Ken is a longtime subscriber and contributor here to my community. Ken writes, "Hey Mike, here are my latest acquisitions from Chasing Cardboard, my oldest cards. Even though the two 1888 Allen and Ginter cards do not feature sports figures, I didn't care. They are from Richmond, Virginia, which I had to have. The Booker Tobacco Company card is from Lynchburg, Virginia, which is even closer. I figured you would enjoy seeing the two T205 Boston Nationals cards as well. Very, very cool stuff. I love these old time really old cards. Some of these obviously are non-sports, just really fun, interesting the way they made cards back then and how what it feels like advanced the artwork was. So, yeah, very cool, Ken. Thanks for sharing. Next up is Tom. He writes, "Hey Mike, here's my oldest card I own. It's a T206 Mordecai Brown portrait. I picked this up at my local card show. I knew when I first saw it, I was buying it no matter the price. I was watching YouTube videos on T206 beginner guides and was gaining so much knowledge about the set. And when this popped up, I jumped on it and ended up grading it myself. It's my first ever T206 I bought and still have it in my collection today." So yeah, it's really cool. Mordecai Brown, obviously some paper loss. It's great that he got a one instead of a authentic because it's in poor condition. But a lot of the times, I think you'd see these get authentic. So really happy for Tom to get a one on that card. Next up is Ira, also a longtime contributor here. Goes by Yoda Skywalker in my comments. And Yoda definitely wins most valuable card, I think, out of all of these. Ira keeps it simple. He writes, "I purchased this card in the mid 70s for $6 from someone advertising in Sports Collectors Digest. I just graded it last year, and it is the 53 tops mantle. It is, he got an SGC 4.5. Very, very nice, Ira. Well done." Next up is Scott. He writes, "The oldest card in my collection is 1888 W. Duke Sons and Company N76 Edgar Allan Poe Great Americans Tobacco Card. Edgar Allan Poe is a huge presence and is woven into the historical fabric of the city where I live, Baltimore, Maryland. As my favorite poet and writer, we would visit his grave on Halloween and listen to actor John Aston, the original Gomez Adams, dressed as Poe, read the Raven poem in character while we'd wander through the cemetery and church catacombs. Bought raw, this is Edgar Allan Poe's earliest appearance on a card. It's crazy to think he died just 39 years prior to it being produced." Really cool. Completely coincidentally, over the past, I don't know, 4 days or so, I binge watched all 8 episodes of the new Netflix series, The Fall of the House of Usher, which is based on Poe's works, and it's done by Mike Flanagan. It's a horror series like all of Mike Flanagan's series are, but it's really kind of loose horror. It's not anything really terrible. Really enjoyed it, and this is a really, really cool card. Again, the artwork is really neat. It's 135 years old. Cool stuff, Scott. Thank you. Next one is Doug. I appreciate all these guys. I mean, they comment on my videos, they email. So thank you to everybody who does this. Doug writes to me, "1968 is when I started opening packs as a 7-year-old kid. This particular card is Jack Hyatt, San Francisco Giants, with bike spoke marks. Card is worn off at the bottom from the spokes and a clothespin gouge on the back. Why this card? I don't know. Maybe I had doubles, so this one was expendable. Plus, I'm a Cardinals fan, and the Giants were the enemy. Only spoke card I saved. That's awesome. I love cards with stories like this. I would save this one as well, no matter the condition, because it reminds you of your childhood, riding your bike around the neighborhood. Fantastic, Doug. It's in terrible condition, but the memories are worth everything. Next one is from Dave. He writes, "My oldest card is an E75 John L. Sullivan, issued in 1910. E75 was a 20 card set that also featured Jack Johnson and Abe Attell, who would go on to help fix the 1919 World Series. I always liked pre war stuff and thought it would be cool to own a card of the last bare knuckle brawler. I bought this one raw in 2021 for 45 bucks all in. I had it graded and it got a 1.5, which seemed about right to me. The card was later featured on Chris Sewell's regular rollers. I know you guys are doing vids now, so I thought it would be cool to have it on both shows. My oldest non sports card is this 120-year-old Mark Twain Ogden Cigarettes card in an old SGC slab that I bought around the same time. Yeah, that's not the last appearance of an Ogden Cigarettes card in this video, but very cool. I looked up this Mark Twain card, and SGC has graded two of them, and this is the highest graded in a six. So I think that's pretty neat. The John L. Sullivan card, interesting. You probably won't be surprised to learn that John L. Sullivan was from Boston. He was nicknamed the Boston Strong Boy. Not only was he the last bare knuckle boxer, he was the last heavyweight champion of bare knuckle boxing. And he was, if I remember correctly, he was the first heavyweight champion of gloved boxing as well. So, yeah, fun, interesting stuff here. Neat. I mean, 45 bucks all in for a SGC 1.5 card that is more than a century old. Great buy. Next one comes from Harland. Harland is yet another great contributor here. Harland was featured in an episode of Chasing Cardboard. I don't remember. I can't remember the episodes. Uh, so he writes, and in that episode, he had inherited a collection and he was trying to figure out what to do with the collection. And he writes, "Here are the two oldest cards we kept from John's collection. They're both West Virginia born players. John was always obsessed with collecting players who were born in West Virginia or who started their careers playing here, college, minor league, or whatever. The Sam Barkley card is especially cool because of the inscription on the back. It says, from Lily Hinkle, 1888, Laura K. Stambaugh. Hinkle was John's grandmother's maiden name, and although we haven't been able to place Lily in their family, I would be surprised if she wasn't some relative. It's also unique that it was given by one female to another. There were three other West Virginia born players in the old Judge set I'd love to find someday, but the one I'd like most is Jake Boyd. His cards, three variations, are extremely rare and quite expensive for someone with his stats." So yeah, that's really neat, and I'm sure he's right that Hinkle isn't a particularly common last name, so probably was a relative of John. These these old 1886, 87 old Judges are so cool. It's I don't know. I just really enjoy looking at these. Very cool, Harlan. Next one is Robert Sagati, who is also known as the Commenting Collector here on YouTube, has a fun YouTube channel. He writes, "The oldest card in my collection is a 1909 T206 Piedmont 350 Peaches Graham." And you can see Rob in this picture with his card. Peaches Graham, he writes, "I grew up fascinated with the story behind the Hannes Wagner T206 tobacco card. For that reason, I wanted to have a T206 of my own. Luckily, I came across Peaches Graham for sale on eBay for a price that was within my budget because as backup catcher, George Graham was a below average player in the big leagues. However, I loved the nickname he acquired while playing in the minors. The story goes that George ate a bucket of peaches on a road trip dare from one of his teammates. He went on to collect 9 hits in that 4 game series. As a result, Graham ate a peach in the dugout before every game for the remainder of his career and was henceforth referred to as Peaches Graham. In addition, another hook is that Graham is my mother's maiden name. For those reasons, it was desirable that I pull the trigger and purchase what is, by a wide margin, the oldest card in my collection." So yeah, Very neat. Uh, love those T206s, and I love that story behind the nickname. Back then, they had much better nicknames than players have now. Last one is from Jordan. Again, great contributor here. Jordan writes, I'm submitting these for your video, and these were purchased from Breakout Cards. Not sure if you met him at the National. Uh, he was a dealer full time for a while, so you could contact him and talk about dealing. A couple interesting things I thought of these was that the Roosevelts were issued during his presidency, and the Churchill is considered a first issue, which I guess is a non sport rookie over 40 years before his time as PM. Yeah, that seems like a rookie to me. It's very cool. It's a 1901 Ogden's Guinea Gold Winston Spencer Churchill. The other one is the Ogden cigarettes that I mentioned, President Roosevelt, 1902. And then you also have another 1902 Ogden cigarettes, President Roosevelt. Very cool. Very cool. I love this stuff, you guys. And you know what? I should probably share my oldest card while we're right here. Let me just grab it. It's right here. I keep it handy because I talk about it a fair amount. So I'm sure you've already heard this before, but uh, I bought a Piedmont cigarettes pack. No cigarettes in it when I bought it, thankfully. There we go. I bought this from Don's Sports Card Center, Portland, Maine. And so it's a kind of brittle, but in complete pack. You can even see the tax stamp on it there at the top. And it came with, I did some research on this for a video before, a Piedmont back Murphy. And I don't remember what Murphy's first name is at this point, but I did a video on it. You can find it in my old videos. So that's my oldest card, T206 from, if I remember correctly, 1909. In the video, I gave an idea of when that specifically was from. Oh, it's 1910 is the tax stamp. So that's it today. Let me know which one of these is your favorite card, favorite story. Either one is great. Let me know in comments. Thanks for watching.